the technology becomes accessible to us. But we're not married to any technology. I think the industry, especially now with labor shortages and different things like that popping up seemingly, I think there's going to be some evolution in construction.
Welcome everyone to our Hero Capital show. I'm your host Tim Mai, and today I have a good friend on the line with us, Mr. Vas Persaud. I've actually gotten to know Vas for I guess 3 years now, about.
3 years.
Yeah, and yeah, amazing watching him launching his fund and growing it. So super excited to interview him today. Vas is the CEO of Avatar Vision Fund
Yeah.
and Karma Development Group and Eco Vision Homes. He has, prior to real estate here as a fund manager, he has a 20-year as a civil engineer and has worked on projects totaling over $3 billion. That's a lot of projects. And yeah, currently launched his fund about 3 years ago now and is developing $150 million in land development projects. With that, everyone, let's welcome Mr. Vas Persaud. Thanks for being on with us today.
Yeah, lovely to be here, Tim. Love everything that you do, man. I'm a big fan. I am in Florida, so I'm East Coast love, man, to the entire group.
Uh,
Great to be here.
but thank you. So you can share with everyone a little bit about your journey coming from a civil engineer. What got you here into this syndication fund space?
Coming up in that, just being a consultant, looking back, you guys ever heard the term entrepreneur?
Yep.
Term entrepreneur? Yeah, so I was an entrepreneur and I was always not comfortable, right? I was always vibrating a little bit too much to be in the box that I was put in a lot of times, a
Mm,
typical corporate job. Naturally gravitated towards entrepreneurship. Initially, I helped a lot of land developers in Florida get their permits for their projects and stuff, but was always doing a little investing on the side. I had a client actually became a mentor and a friend, and he encouraged me. He said scale is important, and I got me to believe that maybe I can do some of these projects as a developer and not just as a consultant. And
mm,
really the thing that got me into what I'm doing, I'm definitely an operator, is I wanted to help address the affordability issue
mm.
housing wise. And so I got into that's really what got me into EcoVision Homes and then Karma Development Group. And then you got to have a way to fund these projects. And that's where Avatar Vision came in. Yeah.
Very good. Hey, maybe we can start with if you can share with everyone a little bit about the role of a civil engineer, especially when it comes to development, real estate development projects.
Yeah, that's a great question, not just for civil engineers, but any consultant really. So, as fund managers, I really stress the term there's funds and then management. So, management is really pooling not just capital, but it's also pooling skill sets.
Mm,
Consultants are a great way to onboard your skill set. So, in civil engine in land development, obviously, there's a lot of engineering details, design, soils, structures, whatever have you. And that's the skill sets that the civil engineer brings to the table, certainly. But what I also thought I brought to the table that I think was helpful to some of my clients was experience on other projects, right? So you not only get a consultant that can do your project, you get to benefit a consultant that had worked on dozens of projects.
yeah, that's really good. Do you like with you having been in the industry for so long, whenever you drive by a piece of land, do you automatically goes, man, the best use for this land would be X, Y, and Z? Do you? I'm curious.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a land person. I love real estate in general. I love the fund of funds model. It's great. My thing though, that my best value that I bring right now is in land space, home residential space. We do have a shopping center project, so we're gonna learn on that one for sure. But yeah, and there are parts of Orlando where I live. There are sections that we help develop, right? So I
Mm,
did that project many years ago. They got built after several years. So that's always nice. Yeah.
gotcha. Okay. So now I know you focus a lot on, like you said, affordable housing. So give us an insight view into what that looks like, because we hear that term a lot. And so yeah, give us an insight into that, and then how do you go about solving
Yeah.
that?
Just my perspective on business in general, anyway. My take on it, my input in the whole thing is I focus on affordability of homes. But I believe business should solve a problem, right? And if it can be a benefit to America is a great country. I really believe every working American should aspire to or contribute definitely to the country in some way, contribute to that GDP, if you will. My skill sets make me aligned with affecting home price and cost to the end buyer because I'm a licensed civil engineer, licensed planner, licensed contractor. I bring those skill sets and affordability to me, it means different things, but certainly affordability me it's I look at it as household affordability and it's the ability to have clean, safe housing, all right, above your head without breaking the bank. That's fundamentally a household can afford it. But that's probably a little bit more numerical, technical definition. But for me is in our generation, in a single generation, a pillar of the American dream is almost out of reach from many of Americans. And that's owning your own home, which is crazy. When I start sawing statistics on this about 10 years ago, I just couldn't be comfortable anymore. I had to go do something, call to serve, if you will. You know what I mean? Which is what your hero community is about and everything like that. Love it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so share with us a little bit about like your fund, your development company, then your home building company. Yeah.
It's three companies, but they're all wrapped together. So I do one thing in my mind. There's just different angles to it from different times of the day and different times of the week. But fundamentally, as a fund, we raise capital to allocate into land projects. We take raw land, we permit it, we can build it or we can exit. And as we build more units, we'll property manage it. So EcoVision Homes focuses on we call it workforce housing. So this is middle income America, teachers, police officers, nurses, whatever have you. We're building homes that hopefully can be at a more affordable price point and accessible to that demographic. They call it the missing middle. They call it the missing middle. So, but to build homes, you need a whole permitting group, right? You need civil engineers, you need contractors, you need planners. So that's where the Karma Development Group comes in. They find land, permit it, raise capital for it, etc. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And last time, it's been a while since we talked, but last time you were doing 3D homes and stuff. Are you still doing that or?
So I tell people we're technology agnostic, right? We've invested a small amount of money in some 3D company, one company, just hopefully things work out for them and the technology becomes accessible to us. But we're not married to any technology. I think the industry, especially now with labor shortages and different things like that popping up seemingly, I think there's going to be some evolution in construction, frankly, and take many forms, both from materials to tools. And yeah, we're interested in 3D. We're keeping tabs on it. Would love to do it, but there's about five different technologies that we could use. The nice thing that we do in-house is we do engineer and design. So if we need to switch to 3D printing, we can switch our plans tomorrow. By tomorrow, they're ready to do something else.
Like I know you guys you said 550 new units. Are they just all
Yeah, pipeline.
conventional in the pipeline? Yeah.
No,
Are they
no.
all, no?
No. So we do have some townhome projects, for example, but in Florida, we're more energy efficient construction method we're using. We're going to pass along that savings to the buyer, so the cost of ownership goes down. We're building more hurricane resistant, weather resistant roofs and stuff like that. Again, insurance rates go down. We're going to pass that along. We have a lot of technology stuff that we're working on. So we're aware that we're a little development company that plays in the tech space. Hopefully, we can execute on that and bring it to the communities we build and actually any community. So we have several things that we're doing there.
You mentioned about five different types of technologies to where the market is going for affordable housing. Let's go into those,
Sure.
especially for a lot. I know for myself, other than 3D printing, I don't really know other besides the conventional building. So share with us a bit about those fives and how they
Well,
differ. And
I'll,
what do you think might be like is there a technology that you think will really take off?
no, I think really it's really early to call which one will take
Mm,
off, but I'll divide them into two buckets. The
okay.
first is modular offsite type construction. Think about it, pre-built
Hmm.
bathrooms, buildings, and they ship it in and drop it in place and that type of thing. And then they have site-built things, right? There are 3D printers that print on site, for example. They're panelized homes, kits. There's modular walls. So these are not walls that are completely assembled on site. They're assembled off site and they come and you drop them in place. I personally think that and I'm speaking to experts around the country, I personally think the site-built modular, that's what I call it, is
Hmm.
probably going to evolve faster, meaning that panelized things built off-site but assembled on-site is where it's going to be for a number of reasons, and I can unpack that briefly if you would indulge me. I'll give you an
Yeah.
example. Conventional framing is stick build, right? So you may need a
Hmm.
crew of 6 people to build a house, but that crew has to be pretty skilled. They have to know what they're doing and whatnot. Now, with all different things going on in the labor space, you can have a wall that's either pre-cut or pre-built off-site, brought to the site and assembled in some way. It requires less labor and also less on-site skill set, right? So you may have more entry-level folks that can be just as effective because the real technical skill is done off-site. So I really see a lot of that stuff, particularly for bigger projects, occurring more and more personally. Yeah.
No,
Mm.
that's really good. I can see that. I can totally see that being, it's an easy one to adopt, right?
Yeah. I think things like 3D printing, they have a place, but I'll give you an example. In a place like Florida, where it rains pretty regularly, imagine printing
Mm.
concrete outside. That's always going to be an interesting situation to control that environment. Or in
Mm.
Texas, where it can be pretty hot at times, and the concrete on the outside is going to dry, inside is not going to dry as well, and there may be issues structurally. So, still an early technology could evolve, but I really see a controlled environment in a factory where things are built mostly and then they're shipped. And it's great when you think about US manufacturing and all these type of things. I think there's some opportunities there. Yeah.
I see. That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. And so share with us a bit about your business plan, right? So you mentioned you guys find the land, entitle it, either sell it or build it, and
Yeah.
then maybe even turn it into rental and manage it. So
Yeah.
give us, yeah, walk us through all of each of those like components of your business.
Tim, our strategy is pretty complex. It's taken me a little while to condense it down. We have a lot of different angles. I guess we did different things, and we're now settling on a few key things that we can focus on, if you will. But fundamentally, from the entire development value chain, from pro forma, or sorry, from strategy selection to land selection to conceptual design, whatever it is, we've
Hmm.
tried to improve using lean thinking the entire value chain with the sole intent to be more efficient and reduce cost to our buyers, our tenants, whatever have you. Okay. We use some AI tech to locate land and identify high probability development targets. We've been increasing our skill sets in the capital raising space to take down that land. I love your courses, for example, excellent stuff, right? I really love recently I was doing some things and I plan to do some more. Anyways, so there's all that. Also from an engineering perspective, getting more lean and efficient. We all know permitting can be a nightmare, right? Bureaucracy of cities and whatnot, but really trying to streamline and utilize resources that's out there, third party companies, whatever have you, to make those things happen. And then on the building side, we have some trademarks, we have some provisional patents on building systems to build about 20% with less cost, 20% faster, right? Without need for, we're not boxable. We don't build a house in an hour or whatever. These are site
That
built
would be a
stuff.
good TV show.
I know. Yeah, yeah, I could say a lot about that, but I won't go there today. Number of homes boxable is built versus their expenditure. But anyway, tongue in cheek. So right through the entire value chain, even on our property management side, we've been working on things. Someone posted the Icon 3D link. I know
Hmm.
people that have worked there and different things like that. So there's technology out there for sure, yeah. But what we don't look at, we're not trying to improve the way you do walls. We're trying to be efficient along the whole way. That's great for many reasons. For investors, we think of ourselves as having two customers, clients that are our investors and customers who are end buyers and tenants and whatever have you. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good. And all of your projects are in Orlando, is that correct?
Yeah. So Central Florida largely, what happened is we strategically like Central Florida. Right now, Florida, basically nationally, prices are softening. We find that Central Florida is doing pretty well relative to the rest of our state. Insurance cost is higher on the coast. Hurricane concerns are higher on the coast. Orlando is the only city that's in the center of Florida. There's a lot of growth here. 1,500 people move here a week. Disney just announced they're investing 17 billion over the next 10 years to add more theme parks and whatnot. So yeah, we're not just a theme park city anymore. We've gotten a little bit more techy. A lot of creative EA Sports and these type of places are here. We've gotten a little technology driven as well to creatively industries here as well. Yeah, we like Orlando. Of course, we love Dallas, right? And we hope to get there as we scale out in our environment here in Orlando. Yeah.
That's good. Right. For those that are maybe not familiar with the whole land development space, give us some insights into whether maybe someone listening either owns some land that's in path of growth or even in the city. What are some of and if they're like, hey, I want to do something with this land,
Yeah.
what would you recommend them? What's the process one should go through to see, number one, what is the best thing to build here, and how can
Yeah.
they begin to do the research to validate that idea?
First, you have to, it's very macro, then you get more micro, right? Macro wise, what, I mean, as a developer, one of your skill sets is understanding the vision, future vision for a property and understanding what would make sense there. So in some cases, we have a case right now, apartments could be a great deal, but the city thinks the shopping center would be even better, right? So now we're going to probably go towards the shopping center. So really, as a developer or anyone, you have to have a vision of what that could be, right? Retail, office, whatever have you, residential, and so forth. A park, some type of business. So shop strip centers, whatever, those are all valid uses. And the first thing is to evaluate what we call something called highest and best use,
Right.
right? Highest and best use and largely economical, right? Financial, sorry, what would make most financial sense. And then moving on from that, you have to look at, can you get that permitted? For
Mm,
example, I might have a beautiful piece of land and I want to build a hotel in it, but it's next to a very heavy industrial manufacturing location. Obviously, that's not going to make sense. And the city would agree and they wouldn't permit that project. So we have to understand, hey, can we get this thing permitted? And then from there, obviously, you start to get more micro. What are the technical engineering challenges? Soils, wetlands, utility availability is a big one, especially for subdivisions. Can't tell you how many times people have come and say, hey, I have 20 acres, I want to develop it. Bro, you don't have any water. How you, you could get a couple houses, on well, but so you have to look at those type of things. So
I'm having to learn that one the hard way here.
really,
But
yeah.
like I so underestimate what it takes to get utilities,
Mm.
especially when it's in a smaller city. It's yeah,
Yeah, so
it's
we don't
interesting.
have one issue. I know in Texas there's things like water rights and whatnot. We haven't typically had to deal with that here because we get a lot of rainfall. So these are things you really have to know it. You have to understand or be around someone that understands. The benefit I've had is when you've definitely probably done a couple hundred projects, I never kept count, but being with my clients and seeing what they go through, I may not have been the GP, but I am maybe at the podium speaking to the city commission, try to convince them, hey, I want to build this six-story building, 300 residents are there because they're one-story homes. They're right around the property. I've been through a lot of those type of things, more than I can remember. Those are but macro to micro, very important. Yeah.
Very good, very good. All right, let's switch gear and talk a little bit about your fund structure and then how you're raising capital for it. So, is this a traditional blind pool fund?
No, I would say it's not. So we are a customizable fund.
Okay.
Okay. We do the investor fund admin thing, and we like them for this reason. We can customize each investment to any investor or a group of investors. For example, we've had investors that have come to us and said, "Hey, look, I'm very liquid. I want to give you guys a chance because we're emergent fund managers, right? We're not 200 million or anything yet, like yourself, right? But we want to give you a chance. We want to invest with you. We're not going to give you $1 million today, but given that we're going to potentially bring 1 million, we don't want to be with any other investors. We want to be with just you guys and us.
Mm,
So with investor customizable structure, we have a way to make that happen. I also wanted a fund that I can do various asset classes because I think markets have cycles. And yes, I'm a land guy, but if there's a great deal in Texas that's value add, I want to create a portfolio in my fund and be able to do that and race for that. So our fund is basically a fund that does syndications. That is our structure.
I
Yeah.
see. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you have great fund of funds stuff as well. We're a little bit on the co-GP side, but again, it allows us to take capital in and customize a structure
Yeah.
to incentivize fund of funds folks coming into the fund. Yeah.
That makes a
Mm.
lot of sense. Okay. So with this 550,
Projects.
yeah, homes coming in the pipeline, how are you planning to do them? Are you going to package them like maybe some investor take on 10, 20 homes or something
So
like?
here's how our fund, and this is technically our third fund. The first two were what we call single asset funds, like basically like syndication, 506C syndications. And
Mhm.
now we have a fund which we can continuously raise and whatnot. What the strategy overall here is, Tim, right? The strategy overall is with land, you can really get in pretty early, 10 cents on the dollar. And because there is, I know sometimes you can't do this in Dallas, I've heard, but in Florida right now, I can put land on a contract for not much money, honestly speaking. Only have to close contingent on securing my permits. So we
Yep.
have mitigating risk, right?
Mhm. Yep.
So honestly, we've raised like one deal, we raised 1 million. We closed. We entitled the property, got it appraised for 4 million. So a 4x
Nice.
return for our investors.
Uh,
And now we're securing debt financing, construction financing to go vertical. Now our investors will do very well because the cash and cash return is great because we didn't have to raise 4 million, we raised one, but we created 4 million in value. And that's the engineering Karma Development Group skill set. So that
oh,
is a key
wow.
part of our structure, a key part of our structure.
Okay.
And it also allows us to be very dynamic. For example, I'll give you an example. We know things are changing in the market and yada. So one project that was going to be apartments, we can transition that project to a shopping center or a mixed use shopping center with apartments, which basically helps reduce our risk, right?
Mm.
While we're doing entitlement. And we don't have to close that property until we reach a certain point. So that also helps. Yeah. So that's the
So
structure of investments in our fund.
I see. Okay. So let me make sure I understand. Okay. Your process. So you get out of the property in the contract with the contingency that you won't buy it until your permits get approved. Basically, your entitlement's done, right?
Yes. And we
Okay.
also have typically have a 90 to 120-day due diligence period as well.
Okay.
Mhm.
Gotcha. Okay. And then, yeah. And then once you have the permits approved, at what point, I guess my question is, at what point do the investors come in? Do they come in at the very beginning when you get under contract and they're funding all of the entitlement cost? Or do they come in after after permits are
Mhm.
approved, and then you guys acquire the land. What are I'm
We,
trying to get a feel for the
yeah, Tim,
stages that the
we've
investors
done
go
it
to.
both ways. We've done
Okay.
it both ways. Investors have come in early to purchase the land. I would only ever do that when we know we have a very clear pathway to entitlements. For example, the land was previously approved and zoned and utilities are in place. And we have about, I think I have 46 checks that we do before we put something on a contract. So
I
we
see.
check, I even check things like political climate towards that asset class and that location, for example. But we also have projects right now where we as GPs contribute our money and we do the due diligence work. So our money is at risk. And then when everything is nice and looking good for to move forward, that's when investors can bring their money. So their money is de-risked at that point in time. In the future, we have some deals that are going to reach this point. Since we purchased pretty low, say that $1 million deal, we purchased a million, the value is at four. We may bring some investors in at around 2 million. Still a great deal, still 50%, 50 cents on the dollar. But that can take out the front side investors as well too, if they would like to, if they like that. Yeah.
Which is kind of what I wanted to ask is do each stage, so investor invests to get you to entitlement, and then the investor invests to get you through horizontal
Mm.
development, and then the investor to get you to vertical construction. Do they have an option to get cash out in each of those stages?
Yeah. So look, there's an exit in every step because whenever I'm gonna pull up something, could I share something if
Yeah,
possible?
yeah, you can.
I have one little slide here. I have quite a few slides, but I want to share all of them. There's an exit at every stage of the way, right? We just have to position and as I in this area of my land development career, I have gotten more astute about positioning the project for those type of exits. Let me just pull up something on this one screen. Yeah,
Okay.
might have a few. This is a simple little timeline chart, if you guys can see that.
Yep.
So typically we start out with submitting an LOI, and LOI will have those type of terms, contingencies and so forth. So we're pretty upfront about it. Then we record a contract. We have a 3-month due diligence period. We estimate 15 months for entitlements. Sometimes it runs longer, at which point you can exit after due diligence, right? Or you can onboard capital here. You can do entitlements, which is just basically permitting the site. You can exit here for a multiplier in money. You can do
Hmm.
horizontal construction only, roads and sewer and those type of things, and sell to, say, a national home builder or another developer. Or sometimes in commercial space, you do pad ready sites and so forth. You could bring on triple net leases at that point. And then, of course, going vertical and all that good stuff. So this is our little graph. We have projects where we're here. We have projects where we're post entitlements and so forth.
Now, you
Yeah.
said that you don't actually close on the property until post entitlement. Is that correct?
We have property that we've closed on because we felt it was a good deal. And to get that deal, we had to move quickly.
I
But then
see.
there's other property that we would not close until step four, which is post
Mm,
entitlements, post
okay.
permit. That's the usual thing. Now, of course, depends on how hot your market is. You may not be able to negotiate those terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, frankly speaking. Yeah, but this is a good little chart we use. It helps. Sometimes it confuses, but
Yeah,
it
this
helps.
is good. No, this is really good. I wish I've known this when I first got into land development for sure. Yeah. But all right, let's talk a little bit about how you're attracting investors and raising money. Is there an avatar that you go after? Who are the investors that you're going after right now to raise
Well,
money?
I'm fully on board with the Tim My school of raising capital right now. I love the investors approach you concept. I think I told you one thing I felt we were missing. We do a lot of good things. We have a lot of great people, good systems. No one knew that, right? And they probably
Mm,
still don't. So investors would come in and we're talking about these great returns and trying to explain a complicated development process, yada. And what we were really missing was building trust and providing value, right?
mm,
Before a pitch. We tried that twice. I want to say this week and last week, and some sitting on the fence investors may be coming in. So
Nice.
that's all you, Tim. That's all
Thanks,
you.
brother. That's
Yeah.
really good. Okay. And then in terms of the avatar of an investor, the ideal profile of
Yes, yeah.
investor.
I know I didn't answer that question. Again, we're now starting to get really heavy on the capital raise, but I do like the concept of the investors that need to invest versus investors
Mhm,
that want to invest. We are still retail, so here's what we're doing in our fund. Yes, we have
mhm.
$150 million in con projects to do. We're raising in tranches. And I learned from some other mentors of mine that, hey, listen, your first $1,000 investors or your first $50,000 investors or whatever it is, they will help get you those $100,000 investors. Those $100,000
Yep.
investors will help get you. But the key is the delivery. Yeah. So anyways, but that's really our avatar really is based on the tranche that we're in. And right now it's just your conventional retail investor where we can be a great fit for them in their financial journey.
Have you considered going after other consultants in the industry where you've been
Yeah.
and yeah, and approaching them to educate them on investing into actual projects?
Yes, so it's funny on our little journey, we have made some wrong turns and we tried some avenues that didn't pan out, I guess you could say. And that's sometimes the luck of the draw. What you thought you needed, you didn't need, those type of things. But yeah, we certainly explored consultants. Right now, though, what we're doing is, like I said, we're in the Tim My bandwagon right now. We like what we're doing. We think if we can tell our story, it can really help bring capital to us.
Yeah, I think for you, with your 20 years of experience in the industry, the biggest story that you need to tell and convey is just your level of expertise. You're
Yeah.
able to look at things at a level much deeper than what other builders, developers, syndicators might look at. Like you said, a checklist of 46 items or whatever before you even get into a deal, highlighting those story. And then your big belief, affordable housing, I think is the other big story, especially when as you grow and you talk to more family offices, they like that feel good component that their
Yeah,
money.
we basically want to execute with our current investors. First of all, the investors that have taken the journey with us. We're really working hard to make sure we deliver. Development has been slower than we thought going in, but we hope to
Yep.
make it up on the back end, frankly, and deliver earlier on total returns. We've also been hit with all this different things in the market that's been going on.
Yeah.
So that does slow you down. Yeah, the key for us really right now is developing relationships. There are folks that are going to invest with us now that we've known it started a while ago, and to nurture those relationships and build those relationships. Get leads, get trusted, get capital.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thanks for the plug there. Before we transition to open up for Q&A from the audience here, for those that want to reach out to you, learn more about you, your funds, the different projects that you do, where can they best find you?
Yeah, I'm gonna put my contact information just up on the screen, but mind if I just share my screen here?
Yeah, not at all. Go
And
ahead.
I'll put it in the
Yeah, and
chat. They can just find.
yeah, we definitely want to put in the chat as well.
That's my cell phone. People can text me. I really love what I do, so I'm happy to be a resource and so on.